Welcome to my YouTube channel. As well, my name is Dr. Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. Once again, my name is Dr. I'll be speaking on IELTS I believe everybody should be able to hear me out. Alright, I believe everybody should be able to hear me out now. Alright, so let me start our break again. I said my name is Mr. Smart Afoladu, and I'll be on taking you the IELTS section and going to the section. So because when it comes to IELTS, we have the reading, the listening, the speaking, and the writing. Alright, so now my emphasis is going to be on the speaking section. My emphasis is going to be on the speaking section. Now, speaking happens to be one of the easiest modules in the IELTS. Speaking happens to be one of the easiest modules in the IELTS, and is as simple as ABC. When it comes to speaking, it has to do with you communicating to your examiner. When it comes to speaking, it has to do with you having a communication between people between you and your examiner. It has to do with the connection between you and your examiner. Are you listening? Alright, so that being said, now the speaking section is divided into 3 theories, and the first one has to do with the introduction aspect. The speaking has to do with the introduction, it has to do with cue card, and it has to do with discussion, which is also known as the follow-up. So the 3 aspect is what is also known as the follow-up section. Let me say it again: the introduction, the cue card, and the discussion. All right. Now the introduction has to do with where you are asked familiar questions. The introduction has to do with where you are being asked familiar questions that you are used to, questions that surround you, questions that has to do with personalized to you. So they could be asking you questions about what do you do, what's the name of your hometown, do you work or study, questions that just has to do with personalized to you. What do you love to do you eat chocolate? How often do you eat chocolate? Do you love t-shirts? Things like that. So it has to do with the personalized questions. It has to do with questions that are personalized to you alone. Questions that has to do with you personally. Questions that have to do with you personally. Alright, now yes, that has to do with you personally. Now, the cue card section happens to be where you are given a topic to talk on. The cue card section happens to be where you are given a topic to talk on, and it could be anything. Now, it's different from the introduction aspect where you are being told to that they are being asked questions that are personalized to you. Now, the Q card session happens to be where you are given a topic, and the topic could be anything. Are you with me? The topic, it could be anything. You can be told to talk about space exploration. You can be told to talk about anything. An old woman you met, can be told to talk about a time you visited an unusual place. Can be told to talk about a time you ate an unusual meal. So this time could be anything. It could be asked any questions that I said earlier, any questions as I said earlier. So these are questions that are just personalized to you in your part one. But your part two, which is a cue card, is where you're given a topic, and the topic could be anything. So you should be very open. The cue card session, you should be very open. That is why I always tell students that you should be very eager to speak. You should be very eager to talk when it comes to IELTS speaking, because that is what totally you are doing. You are speaking. Are you with me? You are speaking, and that's what they're trying to check. They're just trying to check how well you can communicate effectively in English, how well you can develop yourself, how well you can construct your words, how well they're trying to check your grammar, your vocabularies, the way you can project. I mean, the way you can speak naturally. All right, now the Q card section for me, it happens to be when it's even like almost like the simplest among them all, among like the simplest or even like the easiest among them all. It is very simple. It is what is very simple. Now, the now in the kicker session, it has um it has a duration of 3 minutes. Are you with me? The kicker session has a duration of 3 minutes. Now, the first minute you are given is to brainstorm your question. The first minute you are given is to brainstorm your question, while the second minute, while the other 2 minutes is a period where you are being told to speak. So the first section, which is the first minute, is what they will give you a question. Are you with me? Either you're doing a one-on-one with your examiner or a virtual class. A one-on-one or a virtual class. Now, the one-on-one section happens to be where you get to see your examiner physically. Are you with me? That's like a one, like physically, it's going to be in front of you, and virtual, the virtual happens to be where you're going to see your examiner on the let me see, on the screen. Are you with me? Yes, you have to see your examiner on the screen, whereas the physical happens to be where you're going to see your examiner physically. It's going to be in front of you, directly to you. So yes. Now the discussion aspect. Now let me talk about the cue card. Now you are given what is a total of 3 minutes. The first minute you are given is to brainstorm. Is to brainstorm the question. Is to brainstorm the question. And what are you doing in brainstorming? Sazamas, what are you doing while brainstorming? First and foremost, you are trying to check how well you can paraphrase the question. Now, the QCAS session, what are they trying to check in the QCAS session? What are they trying to look at? Now, the first thing they are trying to look at in the QCAS session happens to be the first and foremost, how well you can paraphrase the given topic given to you. How well you can paraphrase it. Are you with me? Because when it comes to IELTS, you must learn how to paraphrase, how to find synonyms to words. So you must learn how to paraphrase the given question. So, for example, they can ask you, describe a time, describe a piece of technology you shared with someone. Let me say it again. Describe a piece of technology you shared with someone. That is just a topic on its own. Now, if you have to paraphrase this kind of question, you can talk about, and to describe a time I shared a piece of device with someone. Now, I've paraphrased described to what I'm talking about. I've paraphrased technology to what, to device. I've paraphrased technology to what, to device. So this happens because you have to be able to paraphrase, you have to be able to call out the question back, and you don't want to call it out in the same way. You don't want to call it out in the same format. So what do? You find a means to paraphrase the question. You find a means to what? To paraphrase the given question. All right. Now, first and foremost, you are paraphrase the question. You are paraphrase the question. The second thing that you like to do when it comes to this aspect of the QCAS session is ability to what? To talk for 2 minutes. Now, majority of people fails to talk for 2 minutes at a go, which has to do with a major issue when it comes to IELTS. You must be able to talk for 2 minutes. You must be able to talk for 2 minutes at a go. Why? Because they won't pause you. You won't be paused. You won't be asked any other questions. So you must be eager and have the energy to talk for 2 minutes at a go without hesitation, pauses, or dead silence. You must be eager. The energy has to come within. The energy has to come within. Because when it comes to IELTS, trust me, it's very simple. IELTS is very simple. IELTS is one of the easiest examination you can ever get done. IELTS is one of the easiest examination you can ever get done. Why? Because it is very simple. IELTS is very simple. It is what? It is very simple. All right. So, now you have to be able to talk for 2 minutes. You have to be able to talk for 2 minutes without hesitation and pauses. You have to be able to talk for 2 minutes without hesitations, pauses, or dead silence. All right. Now, the third thing that I'm trying to check is if perhaps, let me say again, if perhaps you can talk on each of the cues. What does that mean? The ability to talk on each of the cues, the ability to talk on each of the points, because you are given a cue and you are given what to talk on under the topic. So the example we're using earlier, describe a piece of technology you shared with someone. You should say, one, what the technology was, who you shared it with, why you needed to share it, and how you felt sharing it. Now, this kind of a question, within the phase of 2 minutes, you must be able to talk on each of these points. You must be able to talk on each of these points. Why? Because failure to get that done will warrant that you have to spend extra seconds or a minute more to speak on the left questions. Now, note that if this happens to be like that, the total mark at which you are meant to score in your cue card will be reduced. They will have to reduce your score. Why? Because you failed to meet the total duration of 2 minutes. So you are speaking for more than 2 minutes and you've already exceeded the 3-minute session. So the left questions that you were unable to answer, they will ask you back. As soon as they tell you thank you, they will ask you, how do you feel regarding this? How do you felt regarding this? If that was the left question you were unable to answer, if it was who you shared it with, you're unable to answer, you have to answer that question. You have to answer that question. It must be answered. But you must not waste your time. You must not waste your time, because when it comes to IELTS, they are also very strict. It's an international examination. It's an international examination, which means that it is a little bit formal as well. Although when I tell students, I tell them that the person in front of you is your examiner, right? But you should not also see the person as an examiner. See the person as a friend. Why? Because if you are seeing the person as an examiner, it might be hard for you. You might be saying, oh, I have to be talking in a very formal way, but sometimes you don't have to even talk in a formal way. Just flow. Just talk naturally. Just be you. Just be you. All right. So that is the QCAS session. What about the follow-up session, which is the discussion aspect? Now, the discussion aspect happens to be where is a continuation of your part 2. The QCAS session is a continuation of your part 2. The QCAS session is where you are being told or where you are being asked questions that are similar to what you just finished talking on your Q card. The QCAS session happens to be, for example, they're asking you about describe a piece of technology you shared with somebody. They can be asking you, what are the common technology people shared in your country? What are the what are the devices that should not be shared? What are certain things that we should not share with someone? So they'll be asking you questions based on what you just finished talking about, based on anything. It could be anything. They can ask you any question at all. But what matters most is that you are very eager to project. You are very eager to talk. You are very eager to answer those questions. It is very easy to obtain or get a band score of more than 7 in your speaking. To be candid with you, speaking happens to be the easiest among them all. Speaking has to be with the fact that is the easiest among them all. Why? Because we have reading, we have listening, we have writing, right? But in your speaking is the easiest. Why? Because you just have to communicate back in English. You just have to answer questions that your examiner is asking you. Now, example of those questions that they could ask you in your part 1, they could ask you about what do you do. These are common questions they ask in IELTS. They are common questions they ask in IELTS. What do you do? In fact, let me mention about 3. It's most likely that you get 2 out of them all. Now, the first most likely topic that you'll be given when you enter to the exam hall is, after they ask about your details, your means of identification, the next thing that is more likely they will tell you is, do you work or study? Do you work or study? Another one that is most likely that they'll ask you is questions under home and accommodation. Questions under home and accommodation. The most likely one they will ask you again is, where do you live? Where do you reside? Where do you reside? IELTS is very simple. It is very simple. IELTS is very simple. Now, you must be very eager to speak. And I'll be mentioning about 13 key things to note in your IELTS speaking. I'll be mentioning about 13 key things, 13 main things to note in your IELTS speaking. The 13 key things that is very essential and paramount for your IELTS speaking. That you must not even that you must know. You must know it. You must what? You must know it. Now, the first thing that you must note is what is dead silence. The first key thing that you must note is dead silence. Now, what is dead silence? What is dead silence? Now, dead silence is the ability of the dead silence is the ability of you speaking. You must have this energy to keep on communicating to your examiner. You must have this energy to keep on talking. You must be eager to speak until your examiner tells you thank you. Now, if you are seeing people that having that attain a band score of about 6, 5, maybe 6.5, most likely they had issues with dead silence. It is most likely their main issue was dead silence. Their main issue was dead silence. Now, you must be eager to speak. Now, for example, I want you guys to know two different things I'm about to mention now. Now, somebody asks you, what do you do? Now, I'm to answer this in two ways. What do you do? I can say, I work. I work at Ogunshu River Basin, where I carry the role of assistant maintenance and data collection. I love my job because right from my childhood days, I've had passion for this job. This job is a piece of cake to me because one thing I love about this job has to do with the fact that I get to meet new people each and every day. Now, that is a first example. Now, second example, it has to do with the fact that what do you do? I work. I'm a registered nurse under the department of pediatric department. Thank you. And I kept quiet. No, you must be eager. You must keep the fire burning. You must be eager to speak until the examiner tells you thank you or examiner asks you the next question. Now, you must very careful because if examiner is doing like this for you and you just kept quiet or you just keep mute all of a sudden, your time is still reading. The examiner it can be doing this kind of gestures for you, but at the same time, he or she must speak out to tell you thank you. So when examiner tells you thank you and asks you the next question, you cannot keep quiet. But you must be very eager to speak before the examiner tells you thank you. Or before the examiner tells you to stop. You must keep on talking. You must keep on what? You must keep on talking. Now, another key thing that is very essential when it comes to the key things you must note is what has to be the fact of what? Paraphrase. Hey, paraphrase. How well can you paraphrase questions? Paraphrasing is like at the ability of rephrasing a question. The ability of rephrasing a question. The ability of rephrasing a question. When it comes to rephrasing a question, it just has to do with re-saying it in another way to have the same meaning. So we don't be asking you about something else and you're talking about something else entirely. No, that is different. That is different. That is different entirely. That is different entirely. Now, when it comes to paraphrasing, let me give you an example. Do you love chocolate? Do you love chocolate? So if somebody asks me that question, I'm gonna have to say, I love chocolate. I can say, I'm a fan of consuming chocolate. I consume chocolate 3 times in a day because, now paraphrase that. Do you love chocolate? Do you love chocolate? I'm a big fan of taking chocolate. I'm a big fan of eating chocolate. I can say, I admire chocolate a lot. I can say, I like chocolate. But note, I'm not repeating the same word as love. I'm not repeating it again. I've rephrased it in a new way. I've rephrased it in a new dimension. All right, let me so the next one is pauses. Pauses. Now, when it comes to pauses, it is similar to dead silence. It is what it is similar to dead silence. Now, pauses has to do with the fact that you are asked a question and more like you are watching a movie. Yes, let's say for example you are watching a movie as a case study. You are watching a movie and you are pausing and playing the movie. You are pausing and playing the movie. You are pausing and playing the movie. Do you know that you will still hear what they are saying, right? You still be able to hear what they are saying. Like for example, let's say for example, I'm the movie, for example, and you're watching me guys, and I'm saying my name is my name is Smart, and I'm going to be the one to take you this class, and I love what I do. Now, basically looking at that, it is what it is pausing, the inability to flow, the inability to what to flow immediately. It pauses. So you must be very eager to what to talk at length. You must be very eager. The eagerness should come within. The eagerness should come within you. The eagerness should come within you. The eagerness should come with. You must be able to flow at length. You must be what? Be able to talk at length without pauses, without hesitations, without slowing down. You must be able to do that. So it is very similar to dead silence. Now, the next one that you must take note that is also very important is mannerism. Hey, mannerism. Mannerism is very important. It's very crucial. Now, what is mannerism? Mannerism, yes, mannerism has to do with the ability of speaking in a formal way. So you don't have to speak in an informal way. It is an international examination. So you must speak formally. You must speak formally. You should not like vernaculars are not even allowed. Vernaculars using of Yoruba, Igbos, or Hausa or your any word, they are not allowed. So speak natural English. Speak natural English. Speak natural English. So you must not be using vernacular. You must not even be using pidgins. That is a vernacular. You must not be what using pidgins. Example of that pidgins could be, I'm gonna go to the market and get some certain things done. You must not use I'm wanna. They are not allowed. They are not granted. They are what? They are not granted. They are not approved. If you are using that, it is just reducing your score. If you are using that, it is just reducing your score. It is just reducing your score. So you must be able to note that what you are using is a proper English. Is a proper English. So speak naturally, speak in a more polite way. Now, when it comes to mannerism as well, it has to do with the fact that how well you are talking to your examiner. For example, you don't hear a question, you're saying your examiner, come again, come again. No, it is important to learn. So you must not speak in an informal way to your examiner. You must not, because it's your examiner and the person in front of you and you're just talking anyhow. Now, another mannerism that we love to talk about is has to do with the fact that people that love to use that no, when you're using is most likely that you're not even aware of it. When you're using you know, it's most likely that you're not even aware of it. It's most likely that you are unaware of it, because just use naturally. For example, let me give you an example of that. What do you do? I work at. Okay, let me find a more simple example. You know, okay. Now, what do you do? I work at Ogumosho River Basin. Is a wonderful job that I get to do. You know. Now you know that word. You know that word you said. As I said, you know, it is very long. It is what? It is very long, and it gets to reduce your score. When you get to use the word you know, your score is getting reduced. When you're using you know, your score is reducing. You are really getting to reduce your score. Why? Because it's a mannerism. Your examiner does not know anything at all. Your examiner does not know. Why? Because it could be lying. So they don't know. So anything you are saying is fine by them. They don't want to check how well you can able to construct those words and project it out. That's what they are checking your speaking. All right. Okay. So let me get to charge this system. Okay. I think. Okay. Good. So now that word you know is very long. As I said earlier, it is what? It is very long. It is very long. So stop using you know. Stop using it. Stop using you know. I don't know anything. If I'm speaking to my student and they're using you know, I tell them I don't know anything, because they could be lying to me. They can be lying to me. I don't know. So using you know is very long. Using you know is very long. And I'm emphasizing that because it gets to reduce your score. Your score is getting to it just dramatically be reducing, and you will not know. You just realize that your result comes out and you're having band 6.5. Why? Because you're using you know, I don't know. Now, the next thing I would love to talk about after mannerism has to do with repetition. Are you with me? Repetition. Repetition. What are repetitions? What are repetitions? Repetitions has to do with repeating words. Repeating word multiple times. Repeating words multiple times. Repeating words more than twice. You are not meant to reduce. You're not meant to say a particular word more than twice in a particular question. Why? Because once you are repeating that, it is grammatically reducing. It is dramatically what? Reducing. It is dramatically what? Reducing. So you're already getting to reduce your score time by time. Time by time, your score is already getting to be reduced. So note that repetition. Now, when it comes to repetition, you might not even know you're repeating words. That is the funnest part of it. You personally will not know that you're repeating a certain word. Only if you're very you're someone who pay attention to certain things when you're speaking. That is the only time I get to know. But you are just opening your mouth and you're just speaking naturally. You might not get to know and you're repeating some certain word. Now, some common words that people normally repeat are words like hi. Are words like because, hey, because, hi, actually. Funniest part was that when I was doing my tutorial, I was also part of people that repeat words. What I love to repeat them was actually. But with time, it passes by. With time, it passes by. Now, common words is what? I. Now, for example, what do you do? I want you guys to take note of how many times I use the word I. How many times I use the word I. You can also put it on the comment section. How many times I use the word I? The person who actually gets it, I'm going to reach out to the person later and give the person a tangible gift. And give what? The person a tangible gift after now. So how many times do I get to use the word I? Now, what do you do? Let me go back to the same question. What do you do? I work. I work at Ogonsho River Basin, where I carry the role of a system maintenance and data correction. I love my job because right from my childhood days, I have had passion for this job. Anytime I step my feet at the office premises, I am always on top of the world because this happens to be what I love to do. So anybody that can able to get how many times I use the word I'm going to give the person gifts irrespective of how many numbers of people you are. Especially those that are on the live class, like those that are taking this live session now. You can also comment anywhere, either on the YouTube, on the Telegram channel, anywhere. All right. Now, hi, 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 hi. People make use of it a lot of times, a lot of times, a lot of times. Now, they also make use of because. I was taking a student, I think that was 2 days ago, and I was asking the student a couple of questions. In a particular question, she was using nothing less than about 5 because in each questions. Now that is our own mannerism, that is our own repetition. That is our own repetition. She is just used to it naturally because that is how she speaks. That is how she talks. That is just her naturally. That is just who she is. That is just who she is. That is just who she is. Now, somebody said 9, somebody said 8. Use 8 times, sir. Okay. The correct answer, I promise, is something very tangible, something very unique. I promise you. I promise you. It could be anything. It could be in the form of a cash. It could be transfer. It could be anything. It could be a gift. It could be anything. Anything, but it's going to be something very tangible. I was actually counting myself when I was doing it. That I was measuring the eye very bold. That's why the eye was very bold. That's why the eye was what it was very bold. And I will try as much as possible to also give another gift to somebody as I continue. Something very tangible. I promise you, something very tangible. All right. Now, another word that people always say is because. So I said I was taught each question she was using 5. I was about 5 to 6. Because I said, this is your manner. This is your own repetition. This is what you repeat. This is how you repeat your own word. It is fine, perfectly fine. That's just how you communicate naturally before now. But it can be improved. Time by time, it can be improved. It can be improved. It can be improved. All right. Now, because what do you do? Do you love your job? I love my job. It is a wonderful job because it's something I love. I find delight in doing. This job happens to be that I got it because of someone that I know. Now, because I'm not used to it. I'm not used to because it's my own back then was actually I can use multiple actually in a particular question. I can use multiple actually in a particular question. Actually this, actually that, actually at some point I myself I was fed up. I was fed up. Why? Because I was like, this is not me. This is not I not that means that naturally I use actually when I'm communicating with people. If I can use the word naturally before, that's why I use actually when communicating to people naturally. What did I get to do? I kept on talking. I would tell my friends, let's do class, let's do speaking class. I'll be using the word actually. I was using it multiple times. Eventually, it left. Eventually, I was not used to it again. Eventually, I just speak at length. I just speak at length. So, SARS and mass, repetition is a very thing to take note of when it comes to IELTS speaking. When it comes to IELTS speaking, it is very important. It is very important. It is very important. All right, now the next thing that is very important when it comes to this section has to do with what? Self-correction. 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 How well do you correct yourself? Now, when it comes to self-correction, is ability of what? Of you not correcting yourself, even when you make a mistake. So when you make a mistake, you're not even meant to correct yourself in your IELTS speaking of your IELTS exam. You're not meant to correct yourself. Just let it go. Let it go. Let it what? Let it go. Let it go. Now, self-correction has to do with like you are asked a question, your examiner asks you a question, now you make a mistake, and instead of you to just do as if you not make that mistake, you're not like trying to make it obvious that you've done a mistake. You're trying to correct yourself on it. No, 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 no. So let me give now when even on my exam day, on my own personal exam day, I use self-correction. I didn't use self-correction, I went to correct myself on a particular question. Then I remembered self-correction. So I said no. So on my exam day, a night before my exam day, almost all the questions that I was asked on my exam day, I practiced it. Because I'm someone that is very eager to, when it comes to practice, I practice. I practice a lot. So a nurse happens to be the one that was asking me a question on that day when I was in my practice. She said a night before, he said, because just did like a WhatsApp call and we were talking about it. So she said, Mr. Smart, do you love to make use of your phone or your laptop? Hey, do you love to make use of your phone or your laptop? So I told her, I said, I love to make use of my laptop because I'm a computer science student and I love to program. I'm a website developer. I'm into front end and back end. I love what I do. Now, when I was doing my tutorial, I practice. Now, I'm just meant to talk about this thing for about 30 seconds. When I was doing my tutorial, I practiced on it for about at least 3 to 5 minutes. Each question, 3 to 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes. Why was I doing this? Why? Because I'm trying as much as possible not to have dead silence. I'm trying as much as possible not to have dead silence. Why? Because dead silence can dramatically reduce your score. Can dramatically reduce your score. Can dramatically reduce your score. So on my exam day, or in exam, I was practicing. So when she asked me that question, I was unable to talk more than I was able to talk for less than three minutes that I used to use at least. So I become anxious. Like, hey, tomorrow is my exam. Tomorrow is my exam. I was scared. the fear just popped on in my mind. She was like, but this is not you. This is not the you I know. The you I know can speak that way. But she said, why not speak on, I love to make use of my phone. I said, but when it comes to phone, can I have more points? She said, okay, why not use that? The phone can be accessible. I can make use of it anytime I want. She was just giving me point upon point upon point. As if I'm going to meet that question on my exam day. Lo and behold, the next day, on this red letter day, very faithful day, very important day for me. On my exam day, so the lady asked me the same question. She asked me the same question. She was like, she had asked me a question before. Even for next part that I also that same day, that afternoon day, they asked me a question about geography. I was asked question about geography when I was doing my tutorial. The next day as well, they also asked me the same question again, geography. Same question again, geography. Geography. So as soon as I was done with geography, they asked me the next question about technology. About technology, what I love to make use of. Is that my phone or is it my cell phone? Is it my phone or my laptop? Hey, immediately asked me that question. I said, I love to make use of my laptop. Immediately I said that, something popped to my mind. Something came to my mind. Something said, ha, you could have said your phone. Remember that in next before it did not say you can use your phone. But having said my laptop, but to avoid repetition, I just took to what I got to make use of my laptop. So one part was that the example I gave in the class. I mean, when I was in my tutorial, when the next for that, when I was saying I was a computer programmer, that was not what I started with. So when the lady asked me, do you have to make use of a phone or your laptop? I said, I love to make use of my laptop because I have an eye issue. I don't have any eye issues as a mass. I don't have any eye issue. I can see boldly. But I always need to get something done immediately. I need to find a word that I can use. So I said, I love to make use of my laptop because I have an eye issue. I could barely see words that are in short way. So I love to make use of my laptop because I was just giving, I think that was majorly my answer. I said, because I would prefer words that are in larger format. So making use of my laptop, I was able to see very well rather than making use of my cell phone where I have to strain my eyes. That was what I dwelt on. That was what I talked on. That was what I built on. That was what I said. That was what was said. That was what I said. My result came out. It was great. I won't tell you my score yet. But my speaking was great. What I had in my speaking, it was great. Even beyond my imagination, even beyond my thoughts. Beyond my thoughts. It was great. When I say great, I mean great. It was great. So avoid self-correction. Even if you make that mistake, don't make it obvious for your examiner. Don't what? Make it obvious for your examiner. Just build on it and continue. Some people tell you, what do you do? I'm a medical doctor. I work under the AIE department. So I work under the pediatric department. No, you've done a mistake. They don't know where you're working. So either you tell them you're working in the pediatric department, you're working in AIE department, you're working in the male surgical ward department, you're working in female surgical ward department. They don't care. They don't know. They don't know anything at all. They don't know. But what they know is what you tell them. What they know is what you tell them. Now, What I'm going to be talking about now is clarification. Hey, this is very important. This is very paramount. It's very paramount. Clarification. Clarification can either determine your score. Either it's going higher or it's reducing. Clarification can also determine your score. It can what? It can also determine your score. It can also determine your score. Now, what comes to clarification is you understanding the question effectively before starting to answer it. Before starting to answer it, rather. So when you ask a question, you must have a deeper understanding on it. You must have a deeper understanding on it. So once examiner asks you a question, what do you do? That one you're able to hear is very well. But they say something like, what do you do? And he said, you do. And I said, I do a lot of things. Yes, I do a lot of things. And so what do you say again? Because you did not hear what the examiner has stated initially. It is very important that you understand the question first. It is very important that you understand the question before asking it. So if at all your examiner asks you a question and you don't know it, or you could not hear your examiner, ask for clarification. Can you please repeat this particular question? Because sometimes you say, can you, I've had a student before that on exam day, she told her examiner that, can you please this particular question? And the examiner told her no. Now, why could that happen? It could, personally to me, I feel it could happen based on two reasons. One, it could be maybe due to the tone at which she said it. Like maybe she can even say, can you please repeat all these questions? So if she has said, can you please repeat all these questions, Isaiah can tell her no. Why? Because she's referring to that Isaiah should rephrase all the questions that she has been saying since. So Isaiah can tell her no, because Isaiah cannot start from the beginning again. They can tell you no. Or she has used it multiple times. Can you please repeat this question? Can you please repeat this question? Can you please repeat this question? Can you please repeat? Maybe she has used it multiple times. Multiple times. So Asana was like, maybe this guy has been using it multiple times. Maybe she cannot even hear it well. So Asana told her no. So understand the tone. As you can say, can you please repeat this particular question? That means that the Asana should repeat this same question. You can say, now if you want a deeper understanding or you want a rephrase, can you say, can you please rephrase this question? The Asana will say it in a new way, but he or she will not answer the question for you. Me, the person is going to say it in a new way, but will not answer the question for you. Will not answer the question for you, because it's your question. And examiner cannot be asking you a question, that's mannerism, and you're also asking your examiner back a question, that is because telling your examiner it means that you're asking your examiner back a question, which is not approved, which is not allowed, which is not allowed. So you must learn how to use words. You must learn how to use words. So clarification is very important. Understanding it is very important. Is very Very important. Very important. Very important. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about what is pronunciation. Hey, pronunciation. Pronunciation is very important. How you pronounce words. How you pronounce words is very important. How you pronounce words is very important. How you pronounce words is very important. It's very important. It's very important. It's very important. So how well are you pronouncing words? Now, when it comes to pronouncing words, you don't have to form it. I've tutored a student before. I think she just traveled, and after about 2 days or 3 days, the lady just called me and just used WhatsApp call for me and said, "Hello, Mr. Smart. How you doing today? I'm good. How is work over there? I am sure you're doing great." She was using accent for me. I was like, "Hey, is how people voice change just within 2 days or 3 days? Say you got there. Is how people voice change? Is how people's voice change?" So I was like, "Is how people's voice change?" So when it comes to pronunciation in IELTS speaking or exam day, you don't have to form it. Don't form accent. Either you're anywhere in part of this world, don't form it. Let's take a case study of Nigerian. They're in Nigeria, and because this thing is like all over. How you use me? All over. Any people can watch it anywhere. But I'm using a Nigerian. I'm using a Nigeria as an example. So if you're in Nigeria, don't for me that you aim from let me say Ibadan, you aim from Ilorin, you aim from anywhere, you aim from anywhere, Ijebu, Ijesha. Use your tone. The tone at which you speak should be what should be used. The tone at which you talk should be what should be used. Why? Because they are not checking your tone. They are not checking how they're not checking if person is talking like a native speaker. If you're in India, speak just a normal proper English. If you are in UK, speak because I have people across the world: UK, Canada, USA, Australia, Finland, Netherlands, Ireland. Any like that's I think I have most of my students like China. I have most of my students there. I have most of my students I have tutored. I have most of my that I have students taking classes from there. So if you can talk like that, if you can just talk in your normal way, it will help you. It will help you. Just speak naturally. Now, some people tell you, what about if I speak very fast? If I speak very fast, for example, what do? I work at Ocean River Basin where they carry the conversation and the correction. I got my job because what I start you're just for me, you're not singing, you're not rapping. So this one is not rapping. You're not rapping. Are you with me? You're not rapping. What matters most is what you say. Can the examiner hear you? Can your examiner what? Can they hear you out? Can your examiner hear you? Are you with me? Can your examiner hear you out? Can they hear you? All right. Let me send. Okay. Can they hear you? That's what is important. That is what is important. So either you're forming, you're talking very fast. If you're even talking very fast, it could harm you personally. If you're talking very fast, it could harm you personally. Why? Because when it comes to your part 2 session or even your part 3 session, you could be affected. You could be affected. So please, I want you guys to do me a favor. If you're in this, if you're still in this chat, can you tell me if it is very audible now or not? Just up it is very audible. Just up it is not very audible. I will appreciate that as well. I'm going to appreciate that as well. All right. So let's proceed. Let's proceed. Now I'll talk about pronunciation. I've took question about pronunciation. The next thing that is very important. The next thing that is very important. The next thing that is very important. What is that? What is that? It is idioms. Idioms. So idioms is an idiomatic expression that we use to express ourselves in a unique way. Idiom is an idiomatic expression that one use to express ourselves in a different way. Now, under the marking scale, if you want to go beyond band 7, if you want to go beyond band 7, you must use an idiom. You must even use about 2 to 3 idioms in the whole of your IELTS section, of your IELTS exam. You must use about 2 at least idioms. You must at least 2 idioms. At least 2 idioms. Why? Because it helps you. It boosts your score. It boosts your score. It increases your score. So idioms are very important. Idioms are very necessary. Idioms are very paramount. They are very important. Now, idioms are what surrounds us. Idioms, they are what surrounds us. They are everywhere. We even use idioms and we don't know they are idioms. We use idioms and we don't know they are idioms. Now, let me give you about 4 or 5 idioms. 4 or 5 idioms that we use in almost our everyday life, that we use regularly. Now, the first one is what? The first idiom that we mostly use is what? Hit the nail on the head. Okay, so I want you guys to do me something. Now, that would be our second gift. That would be what? The second gift. That would be what? The second gift. Now, I want you guys under the comment section, tell me idioms that you know. Tell me what? Idioms that you know. Just any idiom that you know, that you feel like you know, just drop it down on the comment section. The person with the highest comment or highest idioms within the space of 2 minutes at most, I promise to give the person a gift. I promise to give the person a gift. So I'm going to lift idioms aside and push it out for people that are online. How many idioms do you know? Just mention 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How many do you know? I promise person the gift. So I'm coming back to the idiom section. I'm coming back to the idiom section. So let me move forward now. Let's talk about vocabularies. Vocabularies. Vocabulary. What is vocabularies? What is vocabulary rather? Vocabulary is the ability of using some uncommon words. Is what? Using some uncommon words. Words that are not common. Words that are what? They are not common. We have paramount. I've been saying paramount. I said paramount initially. Paramount is an uncommon word. Paramount is an uncommon word. Paramount is an uncommon word. Paramount, important. We can use merits instead of you saying the advantages of this thing, the merits, the benefits. So these are what now we using vocabulary. Now you must be very careful as well. 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 All right. So vocabulary. So when it comes to vocabulary, you must be able to use it accurately. Are you with me? You must be what? Be able to use it accurately. You must be able to use it what? Accurately. You must not say something aside from it. You must not say something different from it. You must not say something different from it. All right. So the next one is delay tactics. Delay tactics. Delay tactics. Delay tactics. Delay tactics is very important. Delay tactics is very important. What does delay tactics mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Now, delay tactics is the ability of trying to delay a time, delay the period at which you push for the question. So, for example, they ask you, what do you do? You heard what you do. Are you with me? You can hear it. What do you do? What do you do? I can hear you. I can say, please, can you come again with this particular question? So before the person comes back again, I'll be able to generate answers. I'll be able to generate answers. What do you do? So the person asking me the second time. So if the person asking me the second time, it would have helped me. Why? Because I initially heard the person, but I just tried to use a delay tactics. I tried to do what? To use a delay tactics for the person. So the person is asking me again, what do you do? What do you do? So I could hear the person initially. I could understand the person initially, but I tried to delay the question. I can say, can you please come again with this particular question? Sorry, please, I could not hear what you just said on this question, on this particular question. So I'm trying to delay the duration at which I'm to answer the question. Hide the person. Hide the person. Hide him. Hide him or her. I could hear it. I could hear it. So, but I'm just trying to what? To delay tactics. I'm trying to use what? I'm trying to use delay tactics on it, for it. Now, and that's something that is very important. That is very important. What is that? It is, there is no wrong or right answer when it comes to IELTS. There is no wrong or right answer. Hey! When it comes to IELTS. There is no wrong or right answer when it comes to IELTS. There are no wrong answers. So I can say I'm a medical doctor. I can say I'm a nurse. I can say I'm a computer programmer. I can say I'm a website developer. I can say I'm a graphic designer. I can say anything. Anything I can say. I can say anything at all. I can say anything at all. I can say anything at all. What matters the most is I can build on the point. Now, I took mention earlier that somebody asked me, do I love to make use of my phone or my laptop? Do I love to make use of my phone or my laptop? What did I say? What was said? I said, I love to make use of my laptop. She said, I can also say that I love to make use of my phone. That tells you that there are no wrong or right answer. I can say anything. I can say anything. So far I can develop on it. I can say anything. So I don't have to pick a side. That let me talk about this side though. So it's going to give me no. It's not like that. I can say I can build on anything. If I can build on this thing, I will say it. So if I can say, they can ask you, do you love chocolate? Do you love chocolate? If I don't love chocolate, it's not a must I say I love chocolate. It's not a must I say I love chocolate. It's not a must. It's not a must I say I love chocolate. I can say I dislike chocolate because I remember the first time I consumed a chocolate, it affected my teeth. I can just build on anything. So far I can develop on it. So far I can develop on it. I push for it. I push on it. So far I can develop on it, I push on it. So it is very important. It is very important that we know about building on points. So any point that I can say, I go for it. Any what I can say, I go for it. Now, I'm going to tell you something very important again, that it can reduce your score. Now, that is past tense and present tense. You might be thinking now, maybe it's past tense and present tense. It is something very easy. No, it's not like that. You must be able to know when you are using past tense. You must be able to know when you are using present tense. They're asking you about something that's gone and you're using present tense. You're using is instead of was. Hey, no, don't do like that. So past tense relating to the past. Present tense talking about now. Are you with me? Past tense, past. Present tense talking about the reality of what is ongoing at the moment. Of what is ongoing at the moment. So now, let me mention one more. Fluency. Fluency. How well are you friends? How well are you what? How well can you speak without errors? How well can you talk without errors? How well can you talk without errors? So that is fluency. You must be able to talk without errors. You must be able to speak without errors. Or speak at length, let me put it that way. Since it's fluency, you must be able to speak at length without hesitation or all those pauses. For example, what is the name of your hometown? The name of my hometown is Lauren. It has a capacity and a population about 40,000 of people. We are known for our culture and our history. This place happens to be now, you are just speaking at a neutral ground. You are not rushing yourself, you're just speaking naturally, being friends, how you can communicate effectively, how you can communicate effectively, how you can communicate adequately, how you can speak normally, just speak in a normal pace. Speak at a normal pace. It is very simple. Hey, it is very simple. So I don't know how many I've even mentioned. I've talked about deference. I've talked about paraphrase. I've talked about pauses. I've talked about repetition. I've talked about self-correction. I've talked about direct tactics. I've talked about vocabulary. I've talked about past and present tense. I've talked about direct tactics. I've talked about no wrong or right answer. I've talked about idioms. So if you're in this place, let me give you an assignment. Let me give you an assignment that is going to help you personally. That is going to help you personally. What is this assignment? Now, I want you to do this exercise that write out about 15 to 20 idioms and go and know the meanings. Go and learn, know their meanings. It is very important for you, not for me. Because I can tell you about almost 60 idioms and I will tell you the meaning right now. I can tell you about 60 idioms and I will tell you what their meaning. Now, I left idiom earlier now. And the person who actually won the gift for that idiom was Teresa. Because I saw that she said it. It was being stated. I think the YouTube had to restrict her message, but I saw it. So I'll be giving her a gift. So she can reach out to me on the Telegram channel. I'll give her a gift. So the YouTube, I saw it. The message restricted. So she won it. So when it comes to idiom, I said it's an idiomatic expression, right? It's an idiomatic expression. It's an idiomatic expression. Now, when it comes to idiom, let me give you an example. A piece of cake. This is a piece of cake. It's very simple. The matter is a piece of cake. It will get settled. Another similar example to that is as simple as ABC. Something very simple. This thing is very simple. Now, no, I think a piece of as simple as ABC is not that common. Let me give you a common word. Let me give you 5. Let me give you 5 common words. Hit the nail on the head. Hit the nail on the head. What does it mean? To hit the nail on the head. What does it mean? To go straight to the point. Another example of that is call a spade a spade. Call what? A spade a spade. What does that mean? Also go straight to the point. Also go straight to the point. So these things are very important. These things are very essential for you to know. They are very important. They are very important. They are very important. Very important. Very important. Now, another example of that idiom is, let me give you another. Flying colors. Flying colors. I came out with flying colors. Even there is one that people misuse it. They misuse the idiom. What is the idiom? Break a leg. 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 So people always use it in they misuse it. It has turned to something. it has not been something that people just misuse. They misuse it. They misuse it. They misuse it. Now they use bake a leg as today is your birthday. Go and bake a leg of a soldier. I'll be like, bake a leg means, or who can tell me what does the word bake a leg means? Or who can tell me the word bake a leg? Who can tell me what does it mean? Anybody? You can just drop it on your comment section. Anybody? Bake a leg. Who can tell me what it means? Anybody? To break a leg. To break a leg. It's because everybody uses it now and then. Everybody, like, people get to use it every now and then. Every now and then. People just, they use it anyhow. They use it anyhow. They use it anyhow. 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 So who can tell me? Who can tell me the word break a leg? Who can tell me what it means? I hope you are not Google searching this thing. I hope you are not Google searching this thing. All right, so I think it is just 15 seconds, and I think nobody's dropped a comment on it. So it seems as if people might start, they might start going to YouTube, going to Google, going to AI. What does it mean? Now, the word break a leg, it means good luck. It means what? It means good luck. It means good luck. It means good luck. It means good luck. Break a leg on your exam day. That means that you're wishing the person what? You are wishing the person best of luck. You are wishing the person the best. That's the meaning. You are wishing the person what? The best. So that's the meaning of what? Of break a leg. But people tell you, go and break a leg of a soldier, break a leg. I mean, go to the back and break a leg. I'll be like, is this the actual meaning or the meaning you give it? Because it could mean the actual meaning, and you can also give it your own meaning. I hope you get that. It can mean the actual meaning, at the same time you can what? Give it your own meaning. So what does it mean? What does it mean? What is the meaning of it? What is the meaning of it? What does it mean? What does it mean to make a great impact? Break a leg on your exam day. Break a leg on your exam day. All right, so let's proceed now. Questions under common questions under your part 1 session. Common question under your part 1 session. What are the most likely questions? I say it again. Home and accommodation, hometown, do you work or study, home and accommodation, hometown, do you work or study? Those are the common questions that people, that IELTS examiner will firstly ask you. Now, there are 3. I mentioned 3, right? You are most likely to get 2 at first. They are most likely to give you 2, to start with 2 common ones. That they will ask you about different things entirely, but they are most likely simpler questions. There are no hard questions in IELTS speaking. They won't ask you very tough questions. Every question that they will ask you, they are simple. What is only needed of you is to project. What is needed of you is to what? To speak. To what? To speak. To what? To speak. Now, let me do this. Now, let me go. Now, other common questions are transportation. Like, what is the common means of transportation in your country? They can ask you about geography. Do you study geography at school? There are topics under these things. There are topics under these things. There are topics under these things. Geography, they can ask you about a lot. A lot. Technology, I told you about mine. They also was ask me about technology. They asked me about what? Technology. They asked me about what? Technology. They could ask you about weather. How is weather forecast like in your country? How is weather forecast like in your country? So they could ask you anything. I mean anything. Anything, anyway. You could be asked. What matters the most is how well you can get it. How well you are able to construct those answers, to construct your grammar, because there are some grammar errors that people make. Grammar errors, coherence. There are a lot of blunders that people make. But I can give you an assurance that if you say it very well, you should not even get nothing below band 7 when it comes to speaking. Nothing below band 7 when it comes to what? When it comes to speaking. Nothing below that. Nothing below band 7. All right. Now let me dwell on the cue card. Let me dwell on the cue card for now. Let me dwell on the cue card for now. Tomorrow we will continue. Tomorrow we will continue. But let me dwell on what? On the cue card section. Let me dwell on the cue card section for now. Because it's more like I've talked about the part 1 section. I've talked about the certain things that we must take notes in our IELTS. But let me give you some certain key things that you need to know. I've brushed it a little bit when I was talking about certain things earlier. I have brushed it, but I did not emphasize on it. I did not emphasize on it. The emphasis was not made. The emphasis was not made. It was not made. It was not made. It was not stated. So what I'm about to give to you now is what we just carry on. It's what is needed. It's what is needed. It's what is needed. It's what is important for you. It's what is important for you. It's what is important for you. Now, let me say now. The first thing is what is paraphrasing the question. The first element that is important is paraphrasing the given question. Is paraphrasing the given question. How well can you paraphrase? Is how to rephrase the question. 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 Now, when it comes to rephrasing the question,
does not have to, when it comes to IELTS speaking, you don't have to what? Say word, you don't have to say it word for word. Don't say it word for, when it comes to KiCad, don't say it word for word. 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 All right. Now you have to be able to rephrase the question, the topic given to you. You must be able to rephrase it. You must what? Be able to rephrase it. You must be able to what? To rephrase it. You must be able to rephrase it. You must be able to rephrase it. You must be able to rephrase it. Now, it is very important that way. Now, the second thing that is very important, the second thing that is very essential is to speak for 2 minutes. Why? Because if you cannot speak for 2 minutes, your score is affected. If you cannot speak for what? For 2 minutes, your score will be affected. If you cannot speak for 2 minutes, your score will be affected. Your score would be affected. They will reduce your score. And remember the third thing I said, you must be able to talk on each of the cues. You must be able to talk on each of the cues, each of the points. You must be able to talk on it. You must be able to talk on it. You must be able to talk on it. Be able to talk on it. It helps. Now, the part 3 session is the continuation of your part 1. Of the part 2, I beg your pardon. Of the part 2, the part 3 session is continuation of your part 2, which means that anything at all you ask in your part 2, the part 3 is a continuation of it, but you must note that what, that if perhaps there's a note or add like more like a signal that you are making it obvious that this question you've done it several times before, is most likely that your examiner could change your part 3 session. They could give you another topic, but 85% of the time is always a continuation. Is always a continuation. But the part 3 session will be changed if they notice that your part 2 session, for example, they ask you describe a period you met an old woman. You should say 1, when that was, 2, where what conversation you had, 3, how you felt on meeting this person. And depending they ask you that, oh, thank you, yeah, just like doing some unnecessary things. Like your face expression just change immediately. The face just change immediately. They know that, because most of these questions they've asked you, they are past questions online. They are past questions on the internet. So they know that it's most likely that you've seen it. It's most likely that what you've practiced it before. But even if you've practiced it before, don't make it too obvious for examiner to note that. Don't make it too obvious. Don't make it too open that you've done this question before. Why? Because it will not help you. The part 3 question could be a little bit, if you're asking a question about part 2 and it's even like a simple topic you are being given on your part 2, and Your part 3 for because part 2 was simple or because you've passed part 2 before. Your part 3 are not making it so obvious that you've done it. They will change it. I've had a couple of students that told me that they changed their part 3 question. Why? Because when it comes to us, when it comes to our classes, we ask different questions for students. When it comes to us, we ask different questions for students. Are you with me? We ask different questions for students. We ask different questions for students. So we might have asked you questions that you might have done before. We might have asked you questions that they might be asking you. We don't see questions. We don't see the live questions. We don't even know the question they will ask you because we don't even have it. But based on the past questions that we have, based on the past question, we can build you on it. So I'm certain that if you have asked you different questions, if you have asked you different questions, if you have asked you different questions, it's most likely that you will come across them on your exam day. There are I've tutored as much as many students as I can. I cannot even remember. Majority of my students will tell me, Mr. Smart, do you see questions? They will tell me, Mr. Smart, do you see questions? Because what they were asking me was exactly what we treated. They will tell me what we treated yesterday was what they asked me today. What we treated 2 days ago was what you asked me today. Are you seeing questions? Are there something that you're hiding from us? I said, nothing. Nothing. I don't see any question. I told you that when I was doing my tutorial, when I did my examination, they also asked me questions I've practiced because I practiced different PDFs. Different PDFs. If you want a PDF, if you want to have a copy of this PDF, you can let me know. Just drop it on the comment section. I will know. I will see to it eventually. If you want copies of this question that they are most likely to get answers from, that they are most likely to ask you. I'm not saying that is like 100% though. I never stated that. But if you can practice these questions, even if they don't ask you on exam day, even if they don't ask you on these questions, are you listening? Even if they don't ask you on these questions, if you have practiced a lot of them, if you have practiced several lot of them, it would have helped. Why? Because you'll be very eager to answer any question. You would have been eager to answer any given question you are given or you are asked. So what matters the most is having the ability to continue the conversation. What matters the most is having the eagerness to continue this conversation with your examiner. I said something earlier. I said, even if your examiner is giving you a gesture, that does not mean that you should stop. Now, they can give you a gesture to tell you that they can hear you. They can then give you a gesture that they tell you that you should continue. They can give you a gesture that you are doing well. They can give you any gestures. They can give you any sign. They can give you any signal. They can give you any way, but they must speak. Speak. Like speak. Speak. They must speak. They must speak to you back. They must communicate back to you. You must have been communicated to back. They might have told you, okay, thank you. And they ask you a new question. They will ask you a new question. They will ask you a new question. Are you with me? They will ask you a new question. So if you need this kind of PDFs, that it's most likely a probability, there's a possibility of you getting this similar question, you can drop it on the group, maybe on the YouTube channel or on a Telegram channel, anywhere you want. I will see to it. I have some PDFs that Let's continue. Those PDF, those PDF, those PDF. Let's continue. Let's continue. Now, it is very important for you to note that. It is very important for you to note that your discussion is a continuation of your part 2. It's very important for you to know that your part 1 session, I'll be giving out the gifts very soon again. Very soon again. Now, you must take note that your part 1 section, it is the most important for me. Why I say it's the most important, although sometimes some people tell you they don't even mark part 1, let me tell you that this and that, but I want you to know that the part 1 session is most important for me. Why? Because there's something that says, if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? If the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? What does that mean? It means that in your part 1 session, if perhaps you are unable to build on it, if it has a weak foundation, what I mean by weak foundation, the eagerness to speak was not there. You're having pauses, you're having self-correction, you're having repetition, there are a lot of couple of mistakes, grammar errors. You would have been affected. It should have read it to your part 2, and the part 2 will not have been solid again, because you'll be thinking about it, you having thought that that's how I did well in my part 1. This part 1 could have been more better. So it might have affected all through your IELTS section of the IELTS speaking exam or exam day. It will affect you. There's no way. But why I said that the part 1 is most important for me is because if your part 1 is on solid ground, is on a strong foundation, even if they tell you that, okay, let's move to your part 2 section, that smile will come within you, just a little smile. A thought will come to you that that's how I did well in my part 1. It's going to be either a yes or a no. So if it comes to be a yes, I'm fine. But if it starts to be a no, I'll be having several thoughts on my part 2. Several thoughts on my part 2. So I try as much as possible to make my part 1 the best. Now, on my part 2, I have to know that on my part 2, I have to know that this section is just for 3 minutes. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I give my best. What do they need from me? Now, the 2 minutes for you to speak. Now, the first minute you are given is for brainstorming on your cue card. The first minute you are given on your cue card is brainstorming. What are you doing brainstorming? You are thinking. You are thinking of the question. You are thinking of the question. You are brainstorming. You are brainstorming. You are brainstorming. Now, what are you doing brainstorming? When it comes to brainstorming, you don't have to be writing notes. No. This is not the time for you to be writing notes or trying to write everything, all the points down. No, don't write it down in pen, like on the paper. No, don't do that, because when you get to do that, you won't have the time, because 1 minute is not enough for you to write. 1 minute is not enough. But what are you doing on that part 1? That is the time for you to give out points. Just write few points out. Just write few points out. Just write few points out. Few points out. Now, if it's somebody like me, that's what I did. I just wrote few points. I just wrote few points out. I mean, few points. I just wrote it out. Now, I had it that, okay. I did that for about almost 20 seconds. I just got out to my point. As soon as I was done with that, what was the next thing I did? What was it? And I started trying to find how I'm going to link point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4 together. What I did. I mean, I find a means. I was just thinking how to mix it together. This, after I'm done here, I'll talk about this. That was what I was thinking. That was what was on my thoughts. That was what was on my imagination. That was what I was doing. As long as I was doing that, I even used about almost 15 seconds to rest, preparing for the examiner to tell me start. Now, that will easily help me rather than writing just points and I just keep on writing. It tell me it's time to start. Because when it comes to that aspect, I'm not giving my time a little bit, maybe 5 seconds left for me to just be calm and be able to project my time to start. If I'm not getting that done, it will affect me. Why? Because if the time start, I won't start immediately, and my 2 minutes have started already. The 2 minutes have started already, but it will not help me. But if I have 5 seconds, and the time you can start now. I'll be able to start immediately. Why? Because I've even used about 15 seconds to rest. This is looking directly on my paper. So we're given a topic and we give one to talk on. So the first minute you are given is to think of the question. The remaining 2 minutes you are given is to speak on the given question. Now the part 3 session, as I said, is just a continuation of my part 2. The part 3 session is just a continuation of my part 2. Just a continuation of my part 2. So IELTS is very simple. IELTS is very simple. IELTS is a piece of cake. My best exam I've ever done. For me, the best exam I've ever done. Ever. It could be IELTS. Let me say IELTS. Why? Because it is very simple. It is very easy to attain a band score of 8 out of 9 in your speaking. Just follow these procedures, just follow these strategies I've mentioned, just follow these tips I have given and see if it will be of help or if it will not be of help to you. So to wrap this thing up, we start with what 3 things to take note in our IELTS session. The 3 certain things to note, we talk about introduction, the cue card, and the discussion, which is also known as the follow-up. We took measure of about 13 key things to note. We talk about dead silence, paraphrase, pauses, self-correction, mannerism, repetition, fluency, pronunciation, past and present tense, idioms, clarification, no wrong or right answer. So these are the strategies that you need. These are the important things that you need. These are what is needed. They are like it is very needed of you to know, because that is what can build your points. That's what can build your results. So when a student reached out to me and said, I'm not smart in my speaking, I have 7.5, they follow strategies. I'm not smart in my speaking, I was not even open on it. I eventually came up with band 8. They followed the right strategy. They followed the right procedure. They listened to the very end. They look at the tips, the strategies needed to pass this IELTS at a sitting. Because I tell most of my students, I won't say 100%, but 95% of my students pass at once. They ace the IELTS exam at a sitting. Why did I say the remaining 5% does not pass, or maybe other percent? Because there's some students that will not even listen to you. What I might be listening to you has to do with the fact that they will just attend one class and that is the end. What I'm saying here is that you must be, they will just listen to about 5 minutes video on the tips and they are off. No, finish to the end. Finish to the end. Be eager to listen to these things that I'm mentioning. Be very eager to listen to these things that I'm mentioning. So I'm proud to have given you guys these tips, this right approach on how you can pass this IELTS exam. I've given you the tips needed. Now it depends on you if you're actually practicing or not. It depends on you having the eagerness to practice or not. Because when it comes to IELTS, it's something that you must be doing regularly. In your speaking, you must be at least in a day. Speak at least in a day. Communicate effectively. And how can you improve these things as well? Having people to talk to effectively in your proper English. Don't use pidgins to talk. It won't help. What matters most is not just what you do on my YouTube channel. What matters most is what you do after my YouTube channel. I've given you the tips and everything in there. Now you must be communicating, you must be putting everything into notes. You must be putting everything into notes, into considerations. And see if you not also be among my students that are having 8 in speaking. Just take it as what I've said earlier. If you can do these things and you're not having band 8 in your speaking, I won't say more than that. But there are testimonies. 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 Just search for Smart Academic Services. On any, you see Chrome, Google, you see testimonies. You can also sign up for our class. A private class, just you and I alone. And come and see how you have testimonies. You see a contact that will be there. Reach out to the contact. You can reach out to us on WhatsApp. Just send a message. Hi. Let's continue. Now, these things are important. These things are what breeds you. Now, you must be able to communicate effectively after this class. Not just within this class alone. That, okay, I've listened to what Mr. Smart has said. I've listened to what Smart Academic Services has given to us. But what they have given you is beyond you. Because you must get to do it every day, every now and then. You must get to do it after now. After now is what is needed. Who are you speaking with? What are you communicating on? Are you going back to your maybe Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Nupe? No. No. What is important? What is important? What is important is communicating effectively after now. Having a study partner. Have a study partner. It could be your friend. It could be your siblings. Okay, this is what was being stated. This was what was being stated. Now I have to be speaking in English. I want to be talking in English after today. Now I even told my physical students. I told them one thing. I said, in my class, everybody speaks the same English. English. Why? Because aside that it is an office environment, they must also learn how to speak English every now and then. Anybody that speaks pidgins, they know what could happen. Because it's not granted. It's not granted, it's not approved, it's not allowed. So I'm urging everybody on this platform that be eager to communicate effectively after now. Be eager to speak English after now. To start speaking what you are, that one does not help you. How well can you improve? You can also watch American movies. It helps. Please note, it helps. It helps. Just look at how friends they are. Look at the way they communicate. That is better than listening to or watching maybe Yoruba movies. Does not help you. That one has nothing to offer you. Nothing. When it comes to IELTS, mind you. When it comes to IELTS, it has nothing to offer you. What has to offer you is to downgrade you. Why? Because you're not used to the way they speak. So if you are listening to foreign speakers, you see the way they communicate, it helps you. It builds you up. It builds you up. It builds you up. It builds you up. Are you with me? It builds you up. So you can listen to American movies, watch the American movies, listen to news, be shaped by what you hear and what you see. Because that one goes a long way. That one goes a long way than what I have to at least give you in class. Now tomorrow you'll be using our Telegram channel for our classes. Are you with me? We're using our Telegram channel for our class. Now what are we doing on the Telegram channel? We'll be doing questions and answer. Like it's going to be a practical one. That is why it is very important to sign up for our class, because with our Telegram channel, it is very important for us. Now we're using that for our class tomorrow. 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 Now I'm urging everybody to come together also and be online and be there, because what we are going to offer you tomorrow is going to be extraordinary. What we've planned for tomorrow, for those that have signed up for our class and they are on the Telegram channel, is something you can't get elsewhere. Is something extraordinary. Is something that I've never given anyone before. Anyone. So these are we are going to be asking you, it's going to be like a real life question. Are you with me? It's going to be like a real life question. You're going to meet me. You're going to meet my team. They are going to be guiding you. They are going to be telling you what you're not doing well. So it's going to be a question and answer period. It's going to be a questions and answer section. And you'll be blessed. I can only assure you one thing, that is blessing. Because if you can partake on this thing, it's a blessing. It's an all-round blessing. It's an all-round blessing. So don't miss this for anything in this world. Don't miss tomorrow's class for anything in this world. So we'll be wrapping up. So I don't know if there are one or two things that anybody I want to drop on the comment section. Please do that. I will attend to it after now. If there anything, or if there anything that is not clear to you, kindly let me know. I'll attend to it. There a place where you have to need more clarification on. Just send me an hi. I will reply. Just give the this is what you didn't get well, or this is what you need for a clarification. I will attend to it. We'll attend to it. So tomorrow we'll be doing a physical, we'll be doing a practical aspect of it. We'll be doing something practical, something real. We'll be doing tomorrow. So don't miss this for anything. Hey, don't miss it for anything. So thank you all for joining our class. Thank you all for joining our class. Tomorrow we'll be live on a Telegram channel. Do have a wonderful day. Thank you.